friends, it's Star Thrifter, and I got another video for you, and it's in regards to returns. Very, very frustrating. It's one of those should you offer free returns? Should you offer 30-day returns? Should you offer 60-day returns? Should you offer no returns? I mean, have no returns on your account? Oh, it's hard to make the decision. eBay's got a lot of choices, and a lot of this does affect your selling and how many sales you're going to get in regards to returns. And I'll tell you what, I have been selling since 2015, and when I first started out, I was really more of a casual seller. In the last couple years, was moving towards being full-time and now full-time reseller. All this matters. This whole return thing matters. And for a very long time, I did accept returns, and it was 30-day. I mean, a really long time, but I always had the buyer pay for return shipping. And my sales, I don't know, that's how I had it for a really long time. I didn't really notice, because I didn't really change it up that much. It wasn't until I think it was more around the first of this year I started offering free returns. And I fought that for a really long time. I did, because it's frustrating to get returns as it is, especially when you're selling clothing and when it's used, items, and and you do a lot of work and then you got to accept returns, and it gets very frustrating. You don't want to have to pay for that return shipping. By the way, I charge for shipping on all my listings. I don't do free shipping, and the people that do free shipping, obviously that's worked into their price, but just to let you know that. Anyhow, I switched to free returns. And I have to admit, I did mention on one of my videos at the time, around the time I think, that it did really increase the sales. I did notice a big bump in sales. However, that was around, I think, the first part of the year. In that first quarter, sales are up anyways, but it did just seem like it, boosted up. It's really hard to know when to make these changes because each quarter is a little different. And it depends on if it's around what type of holiday and things like that. It can really fluctuate your sales. When is really a great time to do these experiments? But anyhow, sometimes you just have to do them. Then I played around with 30-day refunds. And then I went to 60-day. And I think when I did the free returns, I might have bumped it right up to 60 days. Because I've heard that, eBay, they have the platform set up and they have recommendations of what you would want to have as a seller, and the more that you can follow them, I think sometimes it does probably boost you up in views. The people that are offering 1-day handling, the free returns, and the 60-day and all that. However, then I started playing, I would play around with that 30-day and months at on and off at different times. Lately, I mean, in clothing, you're always going to get returns, and I meant to go and look to see what my return percentage was, and I forgot before I did this. But I have heard from statistics that the average buyer, 81%, will look for free returns, meaning no cost returns, no hassle, and especially offers returns when they're buying. I don't know if that study was done on just eBay or on all platforms. And I don't know how many people will filter that. I mean, when I go to buy stuff, but I don't buy a ton online. But when I go to buy, I don't filter out free returns or things like that. But obviously you would want a return policy, and I have looked at return policies for when it's been like a bigger item and things like that, more expensive. Okay. Lately, it just seems like I was getting like a rush of returns, and it's funny because you'll go in spurts. For a long time, you won't have any returns, and then all of a sudden you'll get like a whole bunch. Do you ever notice that? And it's funny also because I've owned a commercial cleaning business now for over 30 some years. And I used to do a lot of, I had a lot offices that I cleaned. And now I kind of got it reduced down. I've been slowly retiring that business. But I would notice that you wouldn't get any complaints for a very long time, and especially the one building, because I had 22 individual suites at that building. For a long time, nobody had mentioned anything, no complaints, no concerns or anything like that. And all of a sudden, when you got one, you'd get a few of them. They would always be together. Isn't that weird? And it was different sweets. It just seems how it goes. And I don't know if it's that way with those returns. But anyways, and by the way, in commercial cleaning, you very rarely ever get a compliment for your cleaning. Very, very rarely. You do not hear anything from your accounts. But if there's a complaint, then you'll hear from them. But you do not ever get any, any compliments or anything like that. When you do residential, sometimes you do. Anyhow, returning to the returns. Okay, and if you watch them, I have another video up that I just posted. I think it was like a week ago or something like that, in regards to returns and being eBay, frustrated with returns. I just got a whole bunch of them, and the majority of them are, oh, it doesn't fit, or I changed my mind, or it's I just don't like it. They do that. Those are my returns I've been getting lately. Very rarely lately has it been where it's been either defective or item not as described. Very rarely. And that's one thing I want to point out here before we go any further. If you offer no returns, are your items not as described going to go up more? Because then they can return it if they make up some excuse. I don't know. I gotta play with this. However, when I used to only offer, when I offered returns, I think a long time ago too, at one point I didn't offer returns. I don't remember for sure, but when I was offering returns, but I paid for the shipping, yeah, there might have been a few more not items as described. But anyways, did I notice an increase of returns when I started offering free returns and at least a 30-day shipping? Yes. Yes. I for sure noticed. But it's really hard to compute this because I also had I had an increase in sales at the beginning and then, slight along the way. So it's all on how you look at it. Anyhow, I got really frustrated this last week and I shut all returns off. On all my listings, no returns on regular and international. That's it. Click no returns on all of them. And I thought, oh, this will be interesting because it's been summer slowdown anyways, and we're trying to get as most sales as we can. But I was just really frustrated, and I know you shouldn't do that because you should keep the emotional out of your business. However, I just thought, just going to do it for a few days, see what happens. Guess what? Sales really increased. However, I have to note here, because even though I did no returns and my sales went up, and it could have just been a fluke that, because how eBay is. It just kind of goes like this, how your sales will go. But also, whenever you go in and bulk edit anything, it boosts your sales because it supposedly refreshes that. I have a video out on that, how to bulk edit. Now, I usually just go in there and change something in the description, or I would, change the return policy between the two options, not no returns, but, how many days. And I would do that. But I didn't ever really see a big boost with that. However, when I did this no returns on all of it, I did see a significant boost in sales for a few days. However, yesterday and today, slow. Now, this has only been maybe around, I would guess maybe around 5 days that I've been doing this no return thingy. And I'll have, I could continue to stick with it. However, as much as I don't want to, and I really don't, because you don't write your return policy super high either, because that could kick you out of probably being top rated seller. But I do know that you have to offer free returns, 1-day shipping, and at least 30-day to get, or it might be the more, to get the top rated plus little symbol and all that, and whether that boosts you up in your sales. Okay. I decided that I'll probably change it to returns now. It's been about 5 days. Sales have been slow the last 2 days. I think I'm going to go in there and change it to accepting returns, but buyer pays for returns. And we'll see how that goes. And I know it really shouldn't matter, and it is a smaller percent, but you just get frustrated. And by the way, if you have been watching my other videos and you did watch the one that returns, the lady that returned the item that had said that there was a few loose strings, and she was referring, it looked like, to the underside of the garment, and there were some pleats on it, and it might have been just a tiny little tail of the pleat. Well, she took pictures, and I couldn't, even with trying to zoom on it, I couldn't really make it out. I thought I'll wait till I get the item returned. It was a silk top, Marc Jacobs. But I didn't sell it for a lot because I had it for a really long time, 25 or 30, around there. I get the package returned to me, and it's cut open. And not tore up from a machine, going through shipping, United States Postal Service, but it was an actual line right across the top, straight. I mean, it might not be complete straight, but it was like, it could have been on an angle, but it was a straight line. And the post office stamped, returned, contents empty. I was like, what? What did they even bother returning it to me for? Because not to be mean, but if I hadn't received it, that I wouldn't have had to issue a refund. Now, you may say, well, just, contact the post office and try to get your money and, tell eBay, because remember, this was an item not as described. And those, you want to settle and get those refunds done before eBay opens a case, because and I don't care what some of these other resellers say. I'm not saying that they're lying, but for me, the majority of a lot of the people that I've read, their comments on Facebook and whatever, is that the eBay almost always sides with the buyer. Now, some people do win the cases, but you're taking a chance, because remember, an item not as described is a defect against your account. You don't want them. Anyhow, this was an item not as described. And I thought, okay, well, I got to settle this. And I thought, okay, now, if a case is, the case is already open, but if eBay goes in there and looks at everything, they may, if I say, hey, this was delivered to me and it was empty, and show the picture of the post office and all that, technically, I paid for return shipping. The buyer didn't. They just printed the label. And if the buyer had to return shipping to me and they paid for it, they would have to track it through the post office. But since I provided that label, I would probably be liable for that. Anyhow, and I already knew it was first class. It wasn't priority. Priority has insurance on it. And I think they said they just bumped it up, and I could be wrong, but I thought they said they bumped it up to $100 or $200, which I thought used to be $50. But I think they bumped it up. But anyhow, it's one of the other, check with your post office. But first class, there's no insurance. There's no reason to even track that. What can you do? I just had to do the refund, but it was just really frustrating. And I had another top. I've sold it twice now. It is brand new with tags. It's a plus size top. It's just a short sleeved, just regular, it's almost like it's a short sleeve top pullover. It's got some print on it, whatever I have. It's brand new. And I think I probably wrote the measurements the first time. The second time, I probably took pictures of the tape measure, because I've been slowly doing that now with all the new listings, and if I redo any old ones. They both returned it for not fitting, or they didn't like how it felt under the arm or something like this. This was more that sleeky, like kind of like a rayon or something material. It wasn't cotton or anything. But anyhow, same top. I've heard other resellers say that's happened to them before too. They've sold like 2 or 3 times, and I've done it before too, where I've at least sold it. A lot of times when I do get a return and I relist it, a lot of times it'll sell right away. I know, that's kind of interesting. But anyhow, I think that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to offer 30-day, but buyer pays for return, and let's see what happens. And like I said, I know it's important to go in there and refresh, and I've done that, and I'll change. Like I said, I fluctuated how many days for the returns, or I'll go in there and add something to the description, and that does benefit a little bit. I just seen a really big boost when I did the no returns, and maybe it was just coincidence. But anyhow, I think I'm going to try this for a little bit. I don't know for how long, a few days, and then just if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you'll get notification, and they push the notification button. You'll get notifications when I have new videos uploaded, and I'll keep you posted on this issue, and see how it does when I move now to accepting returns again and just doing the 30-day. And then I know eventually I'll probably go to the free returns again in the 30-day. But it's just really frustrating. I know that we've all, had that, especially if you're a clothing seller, you really understand, because it is a category that gets a high percent of returns. And I do understand that, because it's hard to know until you put something on. I don't know my exact measurements. I guess if I bought very much online, I probably would maybe measure, and then I would know, especially if they're providing measurements in the photos and things like that. But usually, generally, I figure if it's a small, it's gonna fit or whatever. But it really depends. Now, if it's pants, it's a different story. I wear like 4 different sizes. It seems like, you know how that goes. It depends on the brand and the style and all that. But right around that, 4 different sizes. It's kind of funny. But anyhow, hopefully you got some benefit out of this. Please write in the comments what you do, what you've noticed with returns, what you offer, and what has been the best that you found for your business, where it was comfortable for you, and that also it didn't hurt your sales, because you take a risk of it hurting your sales if you don't offer returns, or if you're offering the buyer to pay. That's just how it goes. But anyhow, many prosperous sales to you. Thank you.